I know I have to let a difficult client go, but I'm worried about the revenue hit. What can you tell me to make me pull the trigger?
Mm. First thing I would say is probably you'll replace the client with someone better faster than you think, because
Mm,
the amount of time and energy that bad fit clients take up is outsized. It's sort of like the opposite of the 80/20 rule, where like 20% of the bad clients take up 80% of your mental space.
mhm.
Uh, that said, everybody's got a different risk tolerance, so you need to probably do some cash flow projections and say like, okay, if worst case scenario, how far would I get, after letting this client go, if Stark's wrong and I don't find a new great client. So you want to have a plan B. I like to have some kind of um, plan B, but it depends on your risk tolerance. I've got two kids, sole breadwinner, all that stuff, mortgage, dogs, you name it. So a lot of people are depending on a particular check coming in every week. So, you know, figure out what really is the downside, the likelihood of the impact. And, we don't know from this person if they have a mailing list or podcast or some kind of audience or how many leads they normally get or how clear they are about what a better client would look like. But I can tell you for sure that every single time that I've had someone let go of a bad fit client, even in cases where it required sending them big refunds, every single time they say the same thing, which is like, I wish I didn't wait that long. I
Yeah,
feel so much better.
yeah. I just had this conversation recently with someone where I said, "Well, all right, so what percentage of your revenue is this type of work?" It wasn't just one client. It was like a revenue stream from a
Mm,
type of client that they didn't really want to work with anymore.
right.
So they looked at it and said 10%. I said, "All right, let's just imagine for a moment that you dropped it and you didn't replace it. What would that do to your lifestyle? Would you be okay? Would you have to cut back?" And they said, "Well, I really wouldn't have to cut back, but I probably would because I'm conservative."
Hmm.
And I said, "Okay, and what would you do with that 10% of the time if you didn't replace it?" And then they started going, "Oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this," all relate in this case, all related to the business, but it also fed into the long-term goal of having some extra time. So it's like sometimes I think that's all we need to do is we just need to like push it out. Like, what happens to your point? What happens if that client goes away? Can I afford it?
Yeah.
What does this do to my revenue line? Do I have to give up something that I don't want to give up? And I don't know. For me, the planning tends to like soothe the beast. And then you can look at it and go, okay, if that's the worst case, I can take this risk.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah. I think most of the time the reluctance feels like they're afraid of risk, but the reality is they feel like a bad person for firing a client or even if it's not air quotes firing a client, if they're just changing the way that their business works, they feel bad. They feel like they're letting them down. So it's like, hey, this is your business, this is your life, no do-overs.
Yes, it's not a job.
Yeah.